for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K,
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur. Oh!
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the ball!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Stanley pour les Canadiens, leur 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup!
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Vida TV. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Matt Ohayon with you on the Sick Podcast. Happy Friday, everyone. It is the weekend. I am the Hebrew Hammer. It is the last episode of the week, so let's get this thing going. Just going to take care of some business first. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Energy Transportation Group is a leading full-service logistics provider serving all of North America. Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. We're also brought to you by Bittt Tibi beer, brewed in Quebec and a winner of a dozen international awards. Bittt Tibi offers quality microbrewery beers made with premium ingredients for everyone's taste. Bittt Tibi, embrace your true nature. And shop all your sports licensed lifestyle apparel, including hoodies, caps, and tees of your favorite teams from all makes. sportsbuffshop.com. Use code SICK10 for 10% off all their items. We're also obviously brought to you by Playground. Halloween is coming up, and Playground has plenty of treats for its members. Earn entries daily starting last Monday, October 23rd, then return Sunday, October 29th, that's this Sunday, for your chance to win a share of $22,000 in cash and free play. Draws will be held every 30 minutes from 12:30 to 9 p.m. That is scary good. Visit playground.ca for details. All right, so let's start things off. It was a pretty busy week for the Habs. Crazy juxtaposition, because last week was not so busy. But the last time I spoke to our guest for today, the Canadiens were heading in. It was kind of doom and gloom, you know, like the Canadiens, they were running through some injury troubles. And that game against Chicago, Kirby Dach got put on the shelf. Caden Gooley was put on the shelf before that. Wasn't looking so good. Well, since then, they own a 3-1 record and they play again tomorrow night. So let's talk about all that with our guest from the Montreal Gazette, Mr. Stu Cowan. Stu, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I mean, it's crazy what a difference a week could make, right? I mean, last week we're talking about it was all doom and gloom, same old story. You know, the Canadiens, they look good, but they can't escape the injury bug. And oh no, it's going to be one of those seasons. It's going to be a long one. Lo and behold, they shut us up and they go 3-1 in their last 4 games.
And that's losing David Savard also for an extended period with a broken hand.
Right, yeah.
One of the most memorable shifts we'll see all year for sure, with the 3 shots he blocked and losing his skate blade and everything else. But, you know, one thing that's really stood out since Marty St. Louis took over this team is that they don't give up. It doesn't matter. Last year, you know, they struggled, but they didn't. They fight. They don't give up. And there was an example again last night. Down 2-0 after the first period, and Marty St. Louis, who's always calm and cool and collected and doesn't spend a lot of time in the locker room. He likes to leave the locker room to be the players' place. He counts on his leaders to sort of run things in there. But he lost his patience after the first period, and he blasted them. And he blasted them good, and they came out and they really responded. Nick Suzuki scored 27 seconds into the second period. They fought back from down 2-0. They fought back from 3-1, and they ended up winning the game in overtime with another Cole Caufield goal. So it's another example of just how the Canadiens don't give up. They play hard for this coach. And, you know, anybody who's had a boss who screams and yells at you all the time, at some point you tune it out, right? But when you have a boss who seems to like you and appreciates you and works with you and doesn't blow his stack that often, when he does, I think it really gets your attention. And it got his players' attention last night. It really did. Cole Caufield spoke about it after the game. So did Nick Suzuki, Mike Matheson, and he's Caufield said he has good timing. It was a proper time to blast these guys. They were lackadaisical. They really didn't have a good first period. They're being outshot. They're being outplayed. Columbus isn't the strongest team in the league, but Marty got his message across, and I haven't seen him that happy after a win. His reaction behind the bench when they won the game in a long time either. So it was a good night for the Canadiens. I think that Marty played his card and figured, okay, I'm going to lose my cool on these guys tonight, and it worked, and it showed. So it was a big win for the Canadiens to come back the way they did.
It's funny because they had a pretty big sticker against New Jersey. That was kind of expected. They came off a big win in Buffalo. It looked like that win took a lot out of them because they were defending for most of that game. Then they put out a bit of a stinker against New Jersey at home. And then, you said the first period happens the way it happens against Columbus, not the best team in the NHL. That was definitely the right moment for that, because that was just, I was watching and I'm like, I can't wait for it to be 8:15 so I could switch over to the football game. This is ridiculous. Like, I can't believe that this is how they're playing. This is how they're responding after that game against New Jersey. So it was a great response, but not without, its flaws that game had. I guess, listen, it was positive. The Canadiens ended up winning. They scored 2 power play goals. Mike Matheson looked incredible. Nick Suzuki seemed to get right. But I can't get past the undisciplinedness of this team. Like, that's
the big problem. Marty St. Louis spoke about it after the skate Thursday. They're taking way too many penalties. They've only given up 5 goals, 5-on-5 all season, and they scored 13. I think 5-on-5. They're one of the best teams in the league, if not the best team in the league at 5-on-5. But they just keep taking too many minor penalties. They're killing penalties too often. They give up 2 more power play goals last night. They scored 2 themselves, but it's just, if they can just stay out of the box, or if they could have stayed out of the box, they'd have an even better record than they have now. And I think it's surprising the record they do have now, but they've really got to, I think the next time Marty might lose his cool a bit might be over penalties. And we might see guys maybe getting benched or sat for taking too many minor penalties, because it really has been the biggest problem for the team this season. They're going to, David Savard's huge on that penalty kill, so it's going to be even harder for them moving forward, killing penalties without him. So they've really got to cut down on the penalties. They're taking way too many. They got 43 minor penalties, I think, already this season. And it tires guys out. It tires guys out killing penalties. And plus, a lot of guys don't get on the ice. Guys who are on special teams end up sitting for a long time. Then it's hard to get their legs back, and it's hard to keep a flow in the game. So, having said that, I thought the refereeing last night was brutal. Two players on the Canadiens got run from behind, and both times they're offsetting penalties. Canadiens don't even get a power play out of it. The penalty on Gallagher near the end of the game, right before that, there was an obvious hook. I can't remember who it was on the Canadiens, got hooked with a scoring chance, and it wasn't called. And they go down the other end and they call the high sticking penalty. But that's the way NHL refereeing is. It's inconsistent. And but the Canadiens have to deal with that, and they just have to find a way to cut down on these minor penalties and stay out of the box. Because I said, killing penalties is going to be even more difficult now without David Savard blocking shots with his thumb, his skate, every other part of his body.
Yeah. What was awesome about that David Savard thing? Not even in the moment how incredible it was to watch on that shift, but what was great was finally, that came on the Frozen Frenzy night of the NHL. Yeah. And the next day on the Pat McAfee podcast, one of the biggest podcasts in the sports world, if not the biggest, now being broadcasted on ESPN and TSN, they dedicated a segment to hockey, and David Savard was like front and center for it. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was really, really cool. When he lost
the blade and he was on his hands and knees trying to push around, and then he somehow managed to get up on his feet and he took another shot off the butt, it looked like. And it was just, and then, Jake Evans dragging him to the bench afterwards. But you could, I was talking with Brendan Gallagher this morning, and he knows a little bit about broken hands. And he said that as soon as he saw that shot hit Savard in the hand and the way he reacted, he said, oh man, he's got a broken hand. The stick went flying out of his hand. You could just see the way Savard was sort of like waving, shaking his hand and looking at it. He knew something was bad. But to have the courage again to block 2 more shots after that, while sprawling around on his hands and knees trying to get up. They'll be showing that shift for years and years and years on highlight reels of it was just man. David Savard, I think, is a really underrated guy in this team. You talk to the young defensemen like Gouli and Kovacevic, and they have so much high praise from, especially Gouli. I mean, Savard played a huge role in Gouli as a rookie, being his partner and helping him on the ice and off the ice. And the players really like him. He's a fun guy to be around. He's sort of like a father figure to the younger defensemen. And he's a better player than I think a lot of people in Montreal give him credit for. He has some offensive skill too. He plays a lot of tough minutes. He kills penalties. He blocks shots. He led the team in block shots last season. He ranked, I think, 8th in the NHL, and he missed like 20 games. He's a big body. He's built like one of those world's strongest men guys. And he's not afraid to sacrifice his body for the team. And we saw that the other night. And you'd see how much his teammates appreciated it when he got to the bench. He's a big loss for them, though, moving forward now that he's out.
So a couple things there. One, totally agree with you. He's completely underrated. I mean, I remember this time last year, we were talking about David Savard, with the expectations of the Canadiens heading into that season last year, where everyone thought they were dead in the water right from get-go. We said it. David Savard exemplifies Martin St. Louis' philosophy on we're going to do everything we can to win every game possible. We're going to put our bodies on the line. We're going to block every shot. I don't care where we're expected to be. You're going to lay it all out there. And he did that from opening puck drop last season into this season. Unfortunately, lands him on the shelf. But the other thing, we met, the crazy part about that shift is the broken skate blade, and he stayed out there, because how many times have we seen a player, broken skate and they can't stand up after, it looks like a comedy skit. Looks like a comedy skit. But what I always say is, if a goalie gets his helmet knocked off, that's the end of the play. It's pretty big health hazard to have your skate blade knocked off. You're barely able to move out there, and pucks are flying all over at you. You're on the ice and sticks are all around your face. I don't know. I feel like the NHL should make a rule that skate breaks, blow the play dead. It's dangerous, frankly.
Yeah, I guess they're looking at those as an equipment malfunction, same as a broken stick, right? I mean, the goalie's mask, you don't want a goalie standing in the net without a mask on. But for a defenseman down there, I mean, I don't think it'll happen. These blades now, these snap-on blades, it happens more often.
Yeah,
now,
it's
right?
true. Yeah,
the old blades, it didn't happen. Now, you see the guys change their blades on the bench. It used to be if you lost an edge, trainer would have to take your skate, run into the dressing room, sharpen it, and come back. Now they just pop a blade off, they pop another blade on. So I don't think the NHL will make that rule, just because I think we see it happen more often now, just because of these new skate blades that they have. But it was quite remarkable that Savard was able to get back up on his feet.
Well, that's it. It always looks like a comedy skit whenever someone gets their skate knocked off. And then I forget who it was, but I remember it happening maybe last year or 2 years ago, that a player was shoving another player to the bench with his stick.
Bench,
Yeah.
As I said, Jake Evans dragging, and Jake Evans showed some strength, because David Savard's not a small guy. To drag him off to the bench, you got to be pretty strong. But we're talking about blocking shots, and if you're a young guy in this team and you see David Savard blocking shots like that, you can't pull a flamingo. Like, you can't get out of the way of a shot coming at you. It sort of rubs off on the team, but the way these guys shoot the puck now, though, it's more and more of these injuries are going to happen, and you see it especially in the playoffs. You see a guy wind up at the point and 4 guys drop to the ice to block it. It's almost impossible to get a puck through. But shot blocking now is a big part of the game, and it's danger. I mean, we see, I said, Brendan Gallagher, we've twice seen his hand basically shattered blocking shots. With Savard, hopefully it's not that serious. 4 to 6 weeks, I think it was, they said he'd be out. The good thing about, at least with the hands, you can still skate, you can still ride the bike, you can still keep your cardio up, unlike when Gallagher broke his ankle last year twice. There's not much you can do to keep your cardio going. So for David Savard, it'll be interesting to see how he is when he comes back, but I'm sure he still won't be afraid to block shots.
No, definitely not. He's not that type of guy. He's exactly like how Gallagher was. He blocks a shot with his hand from Shea Weber accidentally. Back when he's back on the ice, a couple weeks later, he's still laying the body down and being Gallagher. These guys, I
still remember Guy Carbonneau in the '93 playoff run, diving headfirst and blocking a shot with his helmet from the point. I'll never forget that. It's some of these guys, they're courageous and crazy, I guess is the way to put it.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's one. maybe if you put the actual cash on the table and said, hey, block a shot with your helmet, and I'm looking at the cash, maybe then I'll do it. But you can just say a number. I'm not. It doesn't make a difference to me. I'm not doing that. Anyways, we spoke about him very briefly. I mean, what more positive and nice things could be said about Cole Caufield? Because man, that goal was, and I tweeted it last night. I said I don't think we've seen a player been able to get butts out of their seats like Cole Caufield can since PK Subban. And then one of my followers tweeted at me, who do you think was the last forward? Was it Alex Kovalev? That was that dynamic. Kovalev. And I said, Kovalev could get butts out of seats. He got my butt out of the seats a bunch of times, but I don't think he was as dynamic with the speed and the crazy shot as Cole Caufield. What a treat the Canadiens fans have for being able to watch him play night in, night out.
Yeah, Kovalev was so skilled; he could almost do things in slow motion. Right? He could hang.
I remember his DVD that he's shooting pucks into corners of nets with one hand.
Yeah, but I mean, he no doubt Cole's the first player the Canadiens had since PK. Like every time he gets the puck. People talk about his shot, but his stick handling is remarkable.
Oh my God!
The way he's so quick on his feet, and his stick handling is remarkable. And the way he's able to pull the puck out to one side or the other to find an open lane and shoot. And after the game last night, Herb Zurkowski asked Mike Matheson, where would this team be without Cole Caufield? And he said, well, thankfully we don't have to think about that because it's 2 overtime winning goals he scored. He's leading the team in scoring again. He's 4 goals in 7 games. He's such a dynamic player. And I think I remember the day they drafted him in Vancouver, I was at the draft and I'm 6'3", and he walked up to me and walked beside me when he was going on. He was up to like here and he was like 150 pounds at the time. And I looked at him and I thought, you're going to get killed, man. Yeah. And then he's bulked up since then, but standing beside him in the locker room last night, and he's still up to like here on me, but he's so shifty that it's hard to get a hit on him. He's added a fair amount of bulk and muscle since he was drafted. He's sort of built like Paul Byron now. He's got some muscle on him, but he gets that shot away so quick. And I was sitting beside Herb in the press box last night, and the first couple of power plays, Cole kept trying that short side up high on the goalie shot that he scored so many times. And the goalies were reading it. You could see the goalies were coming across and coming up, and they stopped it a couple of times. And say, man, he's going to have to try something different. And sure enough, the next time he went far post, and the goalie had to make an incredible save on that. So he's able to different types of shots. He has that little backhand move he moves when he cuts into the net. But the shot last night, I mean, he picked his spot, and the spot was probably that big, and he put the puck right there. And you could see how upset the goalie was afterwards because the goalie thought that's like the only place he could have put it to beat him. But he's so. He's great at the one-time shot, but if he has time, and he's so good at creating time for himself, just the way with his stick handling, the way he moves from side to side, and we saw that especially on 3-on-3, he's so dangerous. And the way he was just able to find the open ice, pick his spot, and then put the puck like right in that little tiny hole that was there to score. He's just a treat to watch, and he's a pure goal scorer. I mean, he just scores goals. He just knows how to score. And I was talking with Alex Newhook after the game. And he said, I played against him a lot, back in university. And he said he scored a lot of goals against us. It's nice to have him on my side now, watching him score. But he's just such a natural goal scorer. And I was talking with a friend one day. It's remarkable to think like, how was Dominic Ducharme able to stop him from scoring? How was Cole Caufield not able to score? Like it looked like he had lost all goal scoring ability with Ducharme coaching, and then all of a sudden Marty St. Louis comes along and boom, he's just a scoring machine. I think the main reason is that Marty St. Louis just told him, go play your game and go score goals, and we'll work on the other stuff after that. And after the game last day, when Marty was asked about the Cole on pace for 50 goals again or whatever, and he said he knows he's going to score. He's not just judging on goal. He wants to see how he's playing without the puck, different things, how he's doing defensively. He knows he can score. It's just Marty's working on the other parts of the game. But I think with Ducharme was so focused on the other parts of the game rather than just focusing on what Cole does best and let him do that. And Marty St. Louis allowing him to do that.
You know, the thing about Cole Caufield, and it's easy to say because the Canadiens scored 2 power play goals last night. Finally, I don't even know the last time they scored 2 power play goals in the same game.
Yeah.
Before last night, but it's easy to say this now. But the thing with Cole Caufield is that the thing that I got frustrated watching a lot was with the inept power play. Whenever like they know he's going to take the shot and he tries to pick that corner so precisely and it just misses the net.
Mm-hmm.
And this is before he really got into a groove of scoring. You kind of get annoyed with it, but once the scoring comes and you see why the shots are sometimes missing the net, you can't, especially on the power play, and then it rings around, you all have to exit the zone.
Yeah.
You take that with that ability, and you know what could happen if he does hit his spot, kind of thing.
Yeah, because
that's
exactly, because a lot of players just shoot at the net, right? They just shoot at the net and hope it goes in. Cole's shooting for a little specific spot on the net, and last night he missed the net quite a few times also. But he's a finisher. He knows how to finish, and for the Canadiens' sake, you hope a little bit of that might rub off on Josh Anderson at some point because. He doesn't have a goal, but I mean, he had 2 breakaways last night. He just creates so many chances and gets so many chances, but he just doesn't have that finishing touch. Whereas Cole Caufield, when he gets a chance, more than 50% of the time, it's probably going to be in the back of the net.
Yeah. And the other thing is, it's funny because I remember during the summer, we were talking about his contract negotiations, and it was, comparing him to obviously Nick Suzuki, and then they obviously get the identical deal. But, it's funny because I said, he was on pace for, I think, 46 or 40 some, mid 40s in goals last year before he went down with injury, but only about half the amount of assists, if not less. Well, now this season, he has more assists than he has goals, and he's leading the team in scoring by quite a wide margin. Obviously, he's not going to, I don't know about obviously, he's on pace for 105 points. Scoring's up in the NHL. It's not so inconceivable. If he was scoring at the rate of Jack Hughes is right now, I would say, okay, maybe pump the brakes. He's not going to get 300 points this season, but I don't know. With the way he's playing, there's nothing unsustainable about the way he's scoring goals.
No, and the other thing on that line, I mean, they've had Raphael Harvey-Pinard play there, and they've had Josh Anderson play there this season. Almost one's played 4 games, one's played 3 games. Can't remember which is which. But neither of them have a goal playing with those guys. So, since the golf tournament, one of the biggest questions about this team has been who's going to be the third member of that number 1 line with Suzuki and Caufield. And that they still haven't really found it. They're still, I think it was Eric Engels after the morning skate yesterday asked Marty St. Louis about maybe Tanner Pearson being in that spot. And that would have seemed ridiculous. Early in the season, this veteran guy who had a busted up hand and was wondering if he could even play again. But watching Tanner Pearson play this season, he can shoot the puck. He's a veteran. He's really smart. He's good with the puck. He might be a good fit on that line. But St. Louis was said when he was asked the question, so he likes Monahan, Gallagher, and Pearson together also. So he's sort of reluctant to break that trio up. But Cole's doing what he's doing without really getting much production of any from sort of the third member of that line. It's sort of him and Suzuki. And as I said, Harvey-Pinard and Josh Anderson haven't really contributed much of any offense to that line so far. So it'll be interesting to see moving forward if Marty decides to put Pearson or put somebody else in that position. The injury to Kirby Dach obviously gives them less options because maybe he could have put Newhook in there, but now they have Newhook playing center. So that's one of the things that'll be interesting to see moving forward, just how much longer St. Louis is willing to stick with Harvey-Pinard and or Josh Anderson in that third spot before he starts looking at some other people.
You mentioned his name, so we got to throw him his flowers because I think when the Canadiens acquired him, everyone kind of, it was a very low stakes trade, so no one really, overreacted all that much to it. But I feel like a lot of people were scratching their heads on why the Canadiens acquired Tanner Pearson. But man, it's just like, I gotta say it, like Kent Hughes, he's got an eye for talent. This guy.
A lot of people think, why are they bringing in this 31-year-old guy who's going to take ice time away from like an Emil Heineman or one of the young prospects? But it's just Marty St. Louis has been asked about him a few times, and he keeps saying he's a pro. Like he just knows how to play. Marty said he had a great quote yesterday, and he said he knows the rules of the game. He said, I don't mean offside, I don't mean penalties. He just knows how to play the game. Like Sean Monahan, two veterans, they know how to play the game. They know where to be. They know what's a smart move with the puck. And that's why they sort of worked together so well with Gallagher. They're really smart hockey players. And the thing that surprised me about Tanner Pearson is the shot. I mean, those first 2 goals he scored this season were wicked shots. The third one was a one-timer off a pass from Gallagher on the power play. And this is a guy whose career was in jeopardy because of a hand. He broke his hand last season, and they had all kinds of complications with the surgeries afterwards. He wondered if he was even going to be able to play again. And for him to come in and step in and play the role that he's playing now is really quite something. I mean, you're back to his days in LA. He was part of that 70s line with Tyler Toffoli as one of his linemen when they won the Stanley Cup. So he knows he's just a good hockey player. He's as smart as Marty said. He's a pro. So if you watch him, he hardly ever makes a mistake with the puck. He's always in the right position. Sean Monahan, the same thing, a veteran guy, very rarely makes a mistake with the puck. Smart position, easy to play with, helps his teammates around him. So as I said, it would have seemed ridiculous at the end of the season. Got Tanner Pearson as a winger on the top line, but as I said, they don't start getting production from Anderson and or Harvey Pinard. I think he might be a good fit there. And I said Anderson he could have easily had 2 goals last night. He hasn't been able to finish on his chances. So a guy like Pearson might even help Cole Caufield even more, as far as just that veteran guy who can do some of the dirty work on the ice and win puck battles and get the puck to Suzuki and or Caufield.
With what I'm going to say, I just want to preface it by I'm not comparing Cole Caufield and Nick Suzuki to Crosby and Kunitz, but I'm in style of play. But it's not so different of sticking when they stuck Pascal Dupuis with Crosby. You just who the hell would think that would work? But sometimes it just clicks. Things just click and it works. So I mean, Tanner Pearson
and maybe like Harvey Pinard and Anderson might be feeling too much pressure in that position too. I got to produce. Whereas Pearson's such a veteran, he's gonna just whatever line you put him on, he's just gonna play his game and do his thing. Sort of the same as Sean Monahan.
Well, and the thing with Harvey Pinard is he could also be thinking is, like you said, putting too much pressure on himself, is that he produced last year with Nick Suzuki. So it's the expectation is automatically, okay, now Cole Caufield's there. He could for sure produce. And it's, oh my God, why am I not producing? He's gripped the stick a little too tight. Mm-hmm. Things like that happen. So loved Tanner Pearson there because he's shown that he could still play. And another defenseman that I think a lot of people, now, if they were reluctant to after last season for whatever reason, when he traded for him and signed him to I don't want to say long-term deal, but a good amount of term on it, is a lot of people owe Kent Hughes an apology for bashing him for signing Mike Matheson to that deal, because this guy is we're talking about him the same way we were talking about Jeff Petrie, oddly enough, who he was traded for. That season that he put up, I think it was close to 60, if not 60 points. A couple of years ago, we were talking Petrie for Norris. You heard screams out of Montreal for that. Mike Matheson I don't want to go as far to say he's an elite defender, but he's a pretty damn good one. And he is showing if he's not a number one, you better damn well pencil him in as a number 2 on any team.
What was it, 28 minutes I think he played last night or something? He's one of the most beautiful skaters in the league. He's just an incredible skater. And he plays with a passion. And, he had a rough game the night against New Jersey. He coughed the puck up quite a bit, playing a ton of minutes. But just what a signing. And, you're talking about Kent Hughes, we're talking about getting Tanner Pearson. From being an agent for so long, he knows players. He knows the players he's represented, and he knows what those players think about other players. I'm sure he had a lot of clients who told him about Tanner Pearson, what a good player this guy is, what a talent he is. Mike Matheson, he's known Mike Matheson since he was 13 years old or 14 because he was his agent. He knew not only the type of player he was, but also the character he is, and knew that he would fit in Montreal, knew that he would, the bright spotlight in his hometown wouldn't faze him, and it hasn't fazed him. It's turned him into an even better player. He's got a younger version of Jeff Petrie for basically nothing. You look at the trade, they basically got him for nothing. They got Petrie back again, and then they traded Petrie away. So it was just Kent Hughes, he's able to go Kirby Dach and Newhook. He's able to pick guys out and say that guy can still play, or that guy hasn't reached the potential that he can reach, and we think we can get him there with Marty St. Louis as his coach and with the coaching staff. And that's his strongest point as a GM. Is just and his honesty with the players and the way he deals with players, and same with Marty and the same with Jeff Gorton. They're honest with their players. They treat their players well. But Ken Hughes just has that ability to keep finding these guys that want to. Kirby Dach comes here and he starts to show the potential that Chicago thought he had when they drafted him 3rd overall. Unfortunately, he's out for the season now. But Matheson, you go down, Newhook, you go down the list. There's these guys. He keeps finding Heineman when he got Heineman in that trade. It was like the second or third time Heineman's been traded since he was drafted, and he told him, "No, you're not a throw-in. We want you. Like we think you can play. We want you on this team." So I think from having been a player agent, he has a different view, a different perspective, and he has more players. Before he made the trade for Matheson, even though he's known Matheson since he was 14 or 15, he talked with Chris Letang, who was his client, to get his thoughts on Matheson when he's in Pittsburgh. That's right. Okay. And so it's just he covers all the bases, and he does a lot of his homework. He just has that ability to spot talent and find it and get some of that talent without giving up much. I mean, Tanner Pearson he got for nothing, really.
Well, he GMs like, Marc Bergevin had that famous saying, hold on one second, because it's the first time I've done this in the history of doing this podcast where I forgot to plug my laptop in. And my battery life on this thing is not good. Just give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. I have the wire in my hand, and we are good. All right, yeah. So the way he GMs is it's not like how Marc Bergevin had that famous saying, "Oh, we're not playing PlayStation here. I can't just go out and get a center." Not that. He doesn't GM like he's playing PlayStation. He GMs like how a fantasy hockey manager GMs. Just buy low, sell high, just keep things on the move.
It's all asset management.
That's it.
All asset management. And the Pearson trade, he got, I think it was a 3rd round pick in that also, along with Pearson. Like every trade he makes, he's like, it's a 3rd round or a 4th round. He's got 11 picks next year. Excuse me, 11 picks a year after. Everything is just asset management. So many of those trades are either a prospect thrown in coming to the Canadiens, a draft pick thrown in coming to the Canadiens. Just keep stockpiling these things. And, he took some criticisms for Newhook because he gave up a 1st and a 2nd round pick, late 1st round, early 2nd round. But he knew that Newhook is further ahead in his development now than what that pick would have been, right? Where they pick late in the 1st round, you guys probably 3 years away from being in the NHL if he ever makes it. So he's getting a proven commodity in Newhook, who's young. And that he saw the potential. He knew him also. He wasn't his direct agent, but Newhook was part of the same agency that Hughes worked for. So he uses the people he knows and what he knows with different players, and he uses that to his advantage really, really well.
Yeah, and it's really incredible to watch because like you said it, 11 picks this year and 11 picks next year. It's like I'm excited to see who he parlays some of those picks into another player like an Alex Newhook, like a Kirby, because we know it's coming at this point.
Exactly. 11 picks next year and the year after, plus all the plus Newhook, plus Dach, plus all the guys that he's acquired as part of these deals, Heineman and all these young guys he's acquired also. So it's just, and they say he's not going to use all 22 of those picks, but you can combine some of those picks into trades like he did to get Alex Newhook, right? It's all, especially in today's salary cap world, it's asset management is the key. It really is the key. You got to have young guys who aren't making a lot of money so you can afford, it's a real juggling act, and he's really done a good job of doing it.
Yeah, it's really incredible to watch. And we got another good game on tap tomorrow night when the Winnipeg Jets are in town to face the Montreal Canadiens. I don't remember the last time the Canadiens have had a homestand like this right at the beginning of the season. It's
It's been a really weird schedule with the time off they've had, and like their only road games have been Toronto and Buffalo. They haven't really gone anywhere far. I mean, they're going away next week. It's Vegas and
that's another one. Is like they're going on the west coast to Vegas and Arizona, but then they're not playing against the California teams. It's very weird.
They're finishing St. Louis. It's weird. And then they have another trip later in the year. I think it's either California or Florida, and they end up in Columbus at the end. It's a strange schedule, and it's sort of they didn't play much the first couple of weeks. They had like 3-4 days off in games, and they had a big schedule this week. But it's going to be interesting to see though when they go on the road, and then they, same every year, that long road trip, Christmas, New Year's, because whatever the ice capades or whatever are going on at the Bell Center, and that road trip has been a killer for years. And it's Canadiens' own doing. I mean, the owners want other events at the Bell Center at Christmas to make money, but it certainly hurts the hockey team every year when they're, remember last year I was on that road trip and we were in Dallas, I think they played on the 23rd. Yeah, they played on the 23rd. I flew home on Christmas Eve. So, players you're on the road, 23rd, you fly back home, you go visit your parents or whatever your family, the players do, and then they got to come back to Montreal and then fly on the road again to wherever they're going after that. So that's one of the things and it's the Canadiens of their own doing. They ask for it, but it's really makes it difficult. It's a difficult part of the schedule every single year, and there many seasons it's broken their playoff hopes just because it's really hard. It's a hard grind.
We say it every year. That's the make or break zone. Is that trip either right before it or right after it? We know where the Canadiens are going to be, pretty much, or how the rest of their season is going to look based off of that. Stu, do me a favor and enjoy tomorrow, because after that, the temperature outside, we're going low single digits. So enjoy it. It's the last.
I know. I'm supposed to play golf. I'm supposed to play golf Sunday, and it's only supposed to be 5 degrees or something. And before I did the show, I took my dog out for a walk, and I was just wearing like a long sleeve T-shirt. It's like 20 degrees outside. It's crazy, but these are the last few days, I think. Although I have a buddy of mine who lives in Calgary, and it was minus 16, I think, there yesterday.
Oh, yeah. They got like 5 centimeters of snow already on the ground there. So it's coming. It's coming. Stu?
I think Jonathan Huberdeau's missing playing in Florida right now.
Oh, yeah. Big time. But he's not a stranger to this kind of weather. But Stu, have a good weekend.
Okay, you too.
All right. That was Stu Cowan. And right now, coming up next, we got 6 sports cards.
6 sports cards. Presented by Sports La Tornade.
6 Sports Cards is presented by Sports La Tornade. Sports cards, collectibles, and more. Visit the store at 1 Avenue de la Fabrique in Vaudreuil, Dorion. Tornado Chris, how we doing?
I'm doing great. Just listening in to you and Stu talk about hockey and wanting to jump in, and I'm in the background just waiting to jump in and put my word, So
well, next time I see your name, because on our platform I see your name there. It says Chris. Right, it's set right below his name. Next time I see there, I'm gonna tell Sam and Yellow, hey, let's make this
trio.
What they call it, triple threat. Get Chris in here. We want to shove him in the ring with us.
It's fine. We have 2 different shows, and it's all good. I just I was enjoying the whole talk about Kent Hughes, and I couldn't agree more about some of the moves he's made. He's been really good with some of his wheeling and dealing. The only thing I would have said is I would have jumped in and said, the only problem I really believe is the 2 last draft picks in the first round. I think we could have done better, but
remains to be seen. Remains to be seen about Uri Slafkovsky, and I think a lot of people are not very happy with what Matvei Michkov is doing over in Russia now.
No.
But considering we passed on him,
I think Logan Cooley was the pick, but who would have known? Why did other teams pass on him, right?
Well, that's it, So I got faith, because you know what? He may not be putting up the points so much, but we saw in the first game of the season, Uri Slafkovsky, why he was a first overall pick. He looked dominant, and he may not be putting up the points in recent games, but he looks good. Like, he doesn't look out of place. He's making the right plays. He's strong on the puck still. We're not seeing him getting caught with his head down as much, which is always nice. He looks good.
There's a change from last season, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk sports cards. This is quickly becoming my favorite segment on this whole entire podcast network, let alone this show. So let's talk. So the last time we talked, Series 1 of Upper Deck was set to come out. Now it has.
Now it has.
So now it has. That headline's probably the new releases. What else is out there?
So, well, baseball's wrapping up, so there's not much coming out. It's the end of season, but football and basketball now are ramping up as well, just like hockey. So some of the new products are coming out for football and basketball as well. But yeah, definitely Series 1 is hot off the press since Wednesday. And I don't know if you remember what we talked about last time, how Series 1 was what was always Upper Deck's biggest release, and it's always been everybody's favorite. But this year they announced that Connor Bedard was only going to be, his Young Guns was only going to be in Series 2. And I remember we had this chat last time, and I said, there's something up. There's got to be something. They cannot release Series 1 without something Connor Bedard. And I believe it had to come. There had to be something, right? Because they have to sell their product, and there's got to be something big. Lo and behold, Wednesday, I think as soon as the product came out, I woke up Wednesday morning, started going on social media, and everybody who had already started opening, there it was. There was a Connor Bedard. So you've probably seen it on different pages and stuff. For people that haven't seen it, I had the card in my hand at the store today. I forgot to bring it home, so I asked that Sammy and Yellow show us.
Oh, there
card.
it is. There you go.
So there it is. That was that's the famous Connor Bedard card. We did pull one at Sport La Tornade. So that's the one that now is the hottest in Series 1. People are talking more about that card than the actual Young Guns. And that one there, funny enough, it's not as Young Guns, but when I woke up Wednesday morning, people were pulling that card, and it's an SP1, so short print 1. They announced it as a short print. Usually what short print means is that it's printed shorter than all the rest, and it's more rare and harder to get, and the value will be more. So somebody had pulled it and put it on eBay right away, and on Wednesday there was a few of them sold for $1,200. That was Wednesday. By Thursday, I was seeing more around 1,900. It dropped a bit, and now on Friday we're seeing more 600, 700 right now. So it has dropped because the short print didn't not as short as we thought it was. There seemed to be more pulled than I thought. So it wasn't a SSP super short print. So it's not like in a case, there's 12 boxes. I'd say there's maybe one of those in every 3 cases. That's my estimate. So you got to be lucky enough.
So you got to be lucky enough. But again, I don't know if you could still hear me because my picture just keeps fading in and out, but that's my internet. Sorry about that.
No problem. Yeah, I missed your question.
So yeah, I kind of was that, we play that game buy or sell, right?
Yeah.
We play that game all the time.
His internet is.
Yeah, I know my internet it's horrible right now. I don't know what's going on. You got me?
Just got you now. Yeah, I got you back.
Okay,
now,
yeah.
I missed.
So yeah, we play buy or sell a lot, and seeing how many were being pulled online, it felt to me like, okay, this is kind of like a fun card, like a fun chip for the fans, and the real value is going to be in the Young Guns. Like that's really going to be the one you really want.
Yeah. So right now, people are selling that at $600, $700. It did start at $1,200. When the Young Guns comes out in February, that card is going to be under $200. So you'll be able to find that card at $200. That same card, McDavid, is like, I think you can get it for $50 to $100 now. So it is going to drop. It's just the hype right now. So it's up to you. If you want to keep it, you can. If you really like it and you want to hold it for your own personal collection. But if you're one of the guys that really uses sports cards to flip and get, something you want. So I'll tell you my strategy right now. I have that card right now. I'm evaluating it at around $600. Well, right now the Jack Hughes Young Guns PSA 10 is selling around $550. 500 and 550. So I've put it out there to many people. If anybody wants that Connor Bedard, I'm down to trade for a Jack Hughes Young Guns PSA 10, right? Because I know it's going to happen. So you gotta sometimes use it to your advantage. It's not stealing. It's just the way, somebody probably prefers the Bedard than the Jack Hughes. Some people believe Jack Hughes is gonna win the scoring title this year, and some people don't. Some people say, well, Connor McDavid's gonna come back from injury, rip it up, and it'll be the end. But either way, I think there's two ways of looking at it, whether you're a buyer or seller. It's still a fun card, and it really amped up this product of Series 1.
So just as a note, if anyone has any questions for Tornado Chris, leave them in the comments and whatever platform you're using, and we'll try to run through as many of them as we can. So what in Series 2, so let's talk about the other Young Guns for a second in Series 1, because I've been seeing a lot. The big chaser is Luke Hughes. That's the big one.
Yep.
The next biggest one is it's Devin Levi, right?
I think it's a toss-up between Devin Levi and Matthew Nyes.
Yeah.
Toronto's a big sports market, so Matthew Nyes is got to be one of the bigger ones also.
Yeah, so then it's those two, and then it kind of really drops off after that. I don't want to call them no names. It's just we're not too familiar with the other young guys out there.
Yeah, there's some middle tier, there's some medium kind of guys in there that we're not sure about. So you're talking about the goalie Yaroslav Askarov. So there's Askarov, and there's also Ridley Gregg. He's playing well. So there's those two guys that are also up there. There's I can't really pronounce his name, but there's a guy in Calgary, Karamoto, or I forget how to pronounce his name.
I know who you're talking. It's escaping my brain, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
So there's also
Coronado. There it is.
Coronado. So there's those guys also, and in Series 1 also they changed it up a bit. So now it used to go from regular Young Guns, and then you would get your clear-cut Young Guns. You also had a French variation, Jean Loup. You would have after clear-cut, you'd have like an exclusive that was numbered to 100. You'd have a high gloss that was numbered to 10. And now they've stuck in like numbered to 250, and they actually stuck in some one-of-ones. So the one-of-ones brings a whole other aspect to it. And also they've kind of gone away from the Jean Loup and brought in a different Young Guns, which has a different kind of background look to it. So there's different inserts, which is interesting also. They always manage a way to attract new things and make it pop so people want to buy.
Yeah, so I'm curious, because really people are really going after the Young Guns, because like I'm seeing people open these packs and like they're pulling Connor McDavid, not a base, but one of the three inserts there, that the other versions, and I'm just like, they're not as excited over that as they are over the Young Guns. So I'm just trying to grab, like, is that what you're really going after in these Series 1 packs? Is you're really going after the Young Guns?
Yeah, the Young Guns is the big sell, because in any product of any sport, everyone goes after the rookies. So even in, if you pull a Michael Jordan second, third, fourth year, it's just not as valuable as the one that you pull that's a rookie. It's the same for every player, every team. So if you pull a McDavid, let's say Dazzler, which is a little insert in Series 1, well, it might be worth $1, but it's still an insert. And what's fun about the inserts is people will choose one certain insert and try and complete that set, or I find less and less, but a lot of people used to like to do the master set. So you do the base cards, you do the Young Guns, which there's 50 Young Guns, and then you go into your Dazzlers and your UD portraits and your canvas cards, and those are different sets within the master set. Once you put that all together, if you can pull off the master set, that's quite impressive because you've put a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money into it, and you have a master set. So it's quite impressive.
So what else is coming up for hockey wise? Like looking down the road, we know Series 2 is in February, but what else is coming out? What's on the long-term schedule for
after Series 1 and 2? I think the most popular set has always been SP Authentic. So in SP Authentic, people look for the rookies. They're called Future Watch Autos. So now it's a little bit higher end product where you're going to get the rookie. They're going to be hard signed cards, and they're going to be numbered to 999 or less. So the next SP Authentic is due to come out next week. So Wednesday, we have a release of SP Authentic 2022, 2023. So we're talking about the Matty Beniers year. We're not talking Bedard yet. That's going to be a little bit later in the year for the Bedard. That will be massive. But next week is going to be the 22-23 SP Authentic. After that, we're gonna close off. They're trying to push out the door the rest of the 22-23 sets so that they're not overtaken or flooded by the Bedard year. They don't want Bedard year taking over that year. It's a little unfortunate the way it worked out. There is one more set to come out for 2021-22, which is the Cup. That's the last one. That's the biggest one, but it's yet to come out. So we're still waiting on 21-22 the Cup, and everyone's working. Everyone is going to be gunning for that rookie auto patch, numbered to 99, signed Cole Caufield. If you can hit that, you're hitting the home run. Caufield.
So are those is that standard practice that 21-22 is coming out 2 years? Year and a half after the fact, or are they just really behind schedule?
No, absolutely not. This is still a COVID wave, and they're still trying to play catch up. I give it another 6 to 8 months before they catch up. Once they do catch up, things will calm down. There'll be less releases, which it's very unfortunate for us as store owners to have all these releases back to back to back, because I feel like no one has time to sit, enjoy, and collect one before the next one actually is already coming out. So it's a bit tougher to get off the shelves for us, but people are still interested. I mean, and now I feel like the Connor Bedard year is going to bring old people back and also pique new interest. So kind of what Lafreniere did during the pandemic.
Yeah, no, well, it's awesome because, and I think it'll be good. It'll still be good because I don't think Bedard will flood too much. I think it'll flood a new crowd in, like you said, or an older crowd back in. But I think the current collectors, we're in Montreal. You're still going to have your Canadiens fans that are going to be chasing that Cole Caufield, like you said. People love Trevor Zegras, so they're going to be chasing that Trevor Zegras from the Cup. Yeah. I don't think it'll be too much given, the players that are available in those older per se sets.
Well, 2022-23, you still have Slavkovsky and Goulet. So, there's still that chase. Maybe they don't have the value of Caufield, but anything Montreal is going to be a hit. Just like Newhook, when Newhook got traded to Montreal, his card is still, his young guys, they're still Colorado. But as soon as he got traded to Montreal, his card 10x. So, we're not talking hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. It's funny because, I'm watching people, on doing breaks and, one guy pulls an Owen Beck, Young Guns.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's a nice pull. It's not bad. And I'm just like, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, I live here. I follow the team.
Yeah.
It's not listen, with all due respect to Owen Beck, hopefully he becomes a nice player for the Canadiens, but, they're talking, I feel like they talk about Owen Beck in the same way they're talking about Matthew Nyes in Toronto. Matthew Nyes is in the NHL, but it's just, I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah. He definitely had a tough camp this year.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing is it's just like anything with that Canadiens logo, it's going to hold a lot of value.
It's going to sell. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's good.
All right. Tornado Chris, that was fun. You got anything else? We got one question. So there you go. What is
the new
Young Guns?
So now Alex Newhook, Young Guns. This is funny because when the trade happened, we had the Young Guns selling for between $2 and $4. Like $2 to $4 card.
Yeah.
And then we were watching the sports news at the store as usual, and right away we got live update. Alex Newhook has been traded to the Montreal Canadiens, and it was hot off the press. Within 10 minutes, we had a guy come in and said, "Hey, do you have any Alex Newhook?" And I said, I know what you're getting at. I do have an Alex Newhook, and I will sell you as many as you want, but they're $20 each. And the guy said, "How many do you have?" I said, "I have 10, but I'll sell you 5 because I don't want to sell them all to the same person. I want to, let everyone else have a chance." "No problem. Here's $100. I'll take 5. Like it just, and like 10 minutes before that, I would have sold it for $4. So to answer the question, like I can sell a Newhook now because he plays for Montreal and he's showing good things. I can sell it $20.
I could, that just gave me a mental note. All right. Move to Vaudreuil. So I'll be closer by the store if some news breaks, because if a trade happened right now, it'd take me about 35 to 40 minutes to make it to your store to come.
You'd be too late. You'd be too late.
Exactly. There you go.
The price would be gone up.
There you go. Tornado Chris, thank you very much for joining me.
No problem.
And enjoy the rest. Hey, listen, I know they lost last week, but that was the Colts got robbed.
They got robbed. Yeah.
And that's not even me hating on the Browns. That's just a horrible, horrible call at the end of the game. I was mad for you watching that game.
I was bitter for a day or two there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be frustrating. It's going to be frustrating the rest of the year without Richardson. I thought we had a great thing, but.
But you know what? I mean, they're going to give Jonathan Taylor the ball more. They're going to give, they're still going to give Zach Moss his. You got some good receiver. Hey, Josh Downs looks like he's going to be a hell of a player.
Yeah.
You still got Pittman. There's tools around Gardner Minshew. There's worse backups you could have.
Lots of
backups
tools.
out there you could have.
Yeah, there is for sure.
Hey, so enjoy the weekend and enjoy your fall Sunday.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
All right. There you go. We had a little bit of a mess up there. All right, we're all good. So that just about does it for us. Before I go, I got to give a shout out to Mason Brenhouse's future father-in-law, Harvey Schaefer. Big fan of Matt Ohayon since I was over at the radio. Followed me over to the Sick Podcast. Harvey, happy birthday. We appreciate you and all your support you show to the Sick Podcast. All right, that about does it for me. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. LaBeat.tb. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.